1970. 1970. Hey fabulous fiber friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Karen and I am your host. I know it has been 3 months since I have recorded, and truth be told, I am having far better interaction with you guys on Instagram than I am here on YouTube, and I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if my episodes are just so boring, or I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm too Looney Tunes. Anyway, I would love to interact with you guys, and for some reason here on YouTube, and I know there are so many channels to watch about knitting, crochet, weaving, spinning, sewing, that maybe it just, you know, it's just the YouTube is inundated with so many channels that I get lost in the crowd or I'm just dull. Anyway, I am going to try really hard to go through this and record without doing much editing. That's been another drawback for me, is the editing, because I will spend many hours editing because I do not sit down and write out what I want to talk about. I want to be just sort of stream of consciousness, and I kind of do that with my knitting as well. And but you will see as I do costume changes. So what am I wearing right now? This is a version of my first pattern release, Hello Dahlia. This colorway is called Bad Girl by Asylum Fibers. It holds a fingering weight and a mohair together, although you guys could probably use a sport weight, even maybe a very light DK, very light, and that might work. You'd have to, you know, swatch and make sure. But if you like this version, and if you have this pattern, just end your sleeves shorter and then put your ruffle here. I provided you guys with, I didn't do my hair today because if I stopped, got out the curling iron and did my hair, I'd never record. So today it's just, you're getting this. So my original version has 2 sleeve options. One is just straight and the other one has a little bell at the bottom, which you guys have seen on Instagram. But it's the same, everything else is the same. And I decided when I made, this was my sample, and then I decided, because I love this color, I love both of these colors. This is Black Dahlia by Asylum Fibers, and Stephanie has kits if you're interested in either one of these colors. But I love these 2 colors. And aren't you guys surprised I don't have like a teal blue? I will work on that. So those are your options, but if you do have the pattern and you want to just, I mean, we all know we change up patterns all the time, but I just thought I made this one to be a little different than this one, and I just thought I'd go with these little, you know, have a slightly shorter sleeves. And probably I'm going to make another one, and I'm going to make my peplum very long. So we'll see how that turns out. Anyway, oh my God, you guys, you know what? Today I realized, or yesterday or something, I Zoom with a group, well, on Sundays, a lovely group of ladies, but also on Thursday nights. And it's a lot of knitters from all over the country, and crocheters and sewers, and, you know, they do all the making, all the things. And I realized today or yesterday, I thought, oh my God, when we were talking about movies, and some of you people that have been around for a while, and newbies, oh my God, thank you, hello, welcome newbies, and welcome back to all the longtime viewers, that I didn't mean to be a name dropper, but I worked in film and television years ago, my other life, and they were talking about movies and something about, and I don't even know if I should mention people's names. Should I? I will, and hopefully I won't get in trouble from anyone. But they were talking about a movie in 9.5 Weeks and Mickey Rourke, and I said, oh yeah, and I was sort of reminiscing because it came to mind. Oh yeah, I worked out at Gold's Gym in Hollywood years ago because I lived close by. and worked close by. And there were studios in the area, and Mickey Rourke would work out. And who was the gal that he was dating at the time? Carrie Otis, I think her last name is. They were in the gym sometimes. Jeff Goldblum was occasionally there. One time I was on the treadmill, Magic Johnson got next to me, and I only really recognized, I'm so not into sports, but this man was so tall. I'm like, oh my God, who is this? Oh, Magic Johnson. And I didn't mean to name drop. It was really, I was reminiscing like, wow, I've had some interesting jobs in the past. And film and television was quite interesting. And so you just think about people and actors and, sort of famous or semi-famous people that you meet in your life, maybe in your work, or you meet them on the street, or who knows what. And so I was just sort of reminiscing. So I hope any of you on my Thursday night don't think I was being a name dropper. And if you do, oh well, such is life. So I hope you guys are doing really well. As I said, I haven't recorded in 3 months, so who knows, this might be a hot mess, this episode. And so the newbies may be turning me off and unsubscribing. But you guys, really, if you want me to continue this, and maybe you don't care, please comment, say, yes, please do more videos. Because if no one's watching, then I'll focus more on the Instagram than doing this. So what else can I say? Oh, I was invited to participate in the Knit and Escape Galentine's weekend, and I know some of you participated. And I taught, let me put my phone down here. I'll be playing some music. Oh my God, you guys. Okay, I'm gonna change gears a second. My mother, music. I grew up with my mother listening to Shaka Khan, Al Green, Al Jarreau. My dad listened to Tchaikovsky. Oh, my mom also listened to like Johnny Cash. She had very eclectic taste in music. So on my iTunes here, I have, I don't even know, can I can you guys hear that? This is actually 1970, is 1977, and I believe she's a French artist living in Chile or something. But I also have kind of 1930s and 40s music. I think this might be the Andrews Sisters. I don't have my glasses on. Anyway, okay, I'll stop this for now. I'm going a little crazy here. Back to Knit and Escape Sand Art Cowl. So, I'm dropping everything. Hold on, I'm dropping everything. Okay, so I have talked about this many times. This is what I call the Sand Art Cowl. I'm blocking my face. Yoo-hoo! And I've talked about this before, so bear with me if you've heard it before, but the newbies may not go back and watch old episodes, so I'm going to repeat myself. Several years ago, I wondered I was knitting maybe just a basic cowl, and I thought, oh, what would you do if you started doing short rows in the cowl? Just no rhyme, no reason, just adding short rows. So I started playing with them, but at the bottom of a cowl. And I said, oh, that's kind of interesting. So then I took a lot of these blues and purples. I thought they worked well together. And some I mixed with mohair, others I used singly, like either a sport weight or a fingering weight. Yarn sometimes held with mohair, sometimes not. There's a little bling in here, a little glitter. I don't think you can see that. And just started playing with the short rows. So I came up with this, what I call sand art technique for using German short rows. So I was invited to demonstrate this because Christy she's admired this cowl for quite a while. And so I was invited to do a demonstration at Knit and Escape on my sand art cowl. And it was, oh my gosh, you guys, it was such a great experience. And so I've knit up quite a few versions And I just wanted to share with you guys, if any of you would like to take, I think, going to be teaching a class in this in April. So stay tuned for that if you'd like to do this. I know some of you have already, you're so adventurous and you just went to town and have been using this technique on hats and everything else. And I actually do have, I did one with a hat. And so you can really use it. And here, this poncho, this is the Bonjour High-Low by Espace Tricot. Now, because of all the increases that you need for the yoke section, what I did here is I would color change, but I didn't want them to be stripes, so I kind of changed colors randomly. And then I did my sand art short row shaping down here. So as you can see here, I used a lot of purples, different shades of purple and lavender, a little bit of blue, but this is a more subtle version for those of you who prefer, you know, more subtle colors. And then I have very loud, you know, crazy, almost like Stephen West, just really loud, vibrant colors mixed and matched. So I pull, you know, I have a lot of leftovers, right? And some of my skeins or balls of leftovers are kind of, they're significant enough that I can use them in quite a few of my cowls that I've made. So here I just pulled colors out and went crazy. I didn't really pay too much attention to what colors I was picking or mixing and matching together. I just went for it. This hat is not part of it. Here's another, this is the second one I did after that purple and that lavender purple one I did. This was the very second cowl I ever did using the technique. And so this one too, you know, very more bold patterns, more bold coloring. You know, lots of pinks because I have a lot of pinks from my, you know, leftovers, a lot of pinks and a lot of blues. And actually, I'm working on another one, but I don't really have much to show you yet. So this just gives you an idea what you can do with my technique for this type of color work. Now there's mohair everywhere. And again, one like this is another Bonjour High, which I've showed you guys on Instagram. And here too, this is a little more subtle. I stuck most with all pink. And then you can see a little bit of the sand art coloring. It's using German short rows, but it's how I use them that creates these waves of color. So stay tuned because hopefully in April I will be teaching another class. And so if you're really interested or if you're kind of sorry. So if you're kind of new to German short rows, and I do use German short rows, I have not tried other short rows. I think the German short rows work the best. Just mentally as I was doing it, I thought they would be better than the other types of short rows that are available for shaping. I prefer the German short rows. So if you are interested in learning how I do it, maybe you're new to it, so you're a little more nervous to try it, you know, just stay tuned and I will have more information on the class that will be available in about a month and a half or so. So next, I think I want to show you, it's going to be a lot of finished objects today. I made my husband a sweater. I want to make myself one. The sweater is so delicious and so divine. You know what I'm going to change and I will come right back and show you guys my husband's sweater. It's just a big, bulky, I did not use a pattern. I used Blue Sky Fibers. It is their brushed suri. The colorway is called, is it Whisper? No, Cloud? No, Marshmallow? Anyway, they only have maybe a handful of colors, and it's, of course, the white-ish one. And I mixed it with a lot of minis that I had that were sort of in the white-ish colorway with little speckles. And so I just cast on and did raglan shaping and would try it on my husband every time and actually this could be like a boyfriend sweater. It is so cozy. the suri and the, oh my gosh. And I did it on large needles. And so it has this very light, oh my God, it's like I am wrapped in marshmallows or clouds or something. And I really, really love the sweater. So I just, here too, I mixed and matched colorways. I didn't use them until they ran out. What I would do is I'd use a colorway maybe, you know, halfway through, and then I'd switch to a different colorway, or sometimes I kept 2 colorways on the needles and would rotate between them. Again, no rhyme, no reason, not always in the same place because I didn't like that little jog when you change colors. And so I think this turned out really well. And I've already got picked out. I have more of the brush suri yarn for myself. And I'm thinking, I really love, excuse me, Plank and Stella. I have some, there's sort of a whitish base with a lot of pink and some other colors in them. So for me, I'm thinking I'll do sort of a his and hers. But mine, I don't have enough leftovers from my sweater, so my version of it, so I have some skeins here. So I think that's what I'm going to do. That's the plan. It's when do I get to it? Because you guys, you know, we have so many things on the needles in our queues, or I buy patterns and they sit and they pile up, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what's next and what should I do next? And, we're always looking for the latest thing. The neckline is just a twisted rib neckline, then the raglan, and then I always do, you guys, and I think I'm starting to see a couple of designers are starting to do this now, and you guys know I've been doing this for many years. Anytime I knit in the round, whether it be top down or bottom up, I always include a faux pearl seam. I do it for my sleeves as well, so that the garment has a little bit of structure. It doesn't look tubular. And again, those of you who have been with me for a long time, you have heard me say this before, but any newbies are maybe unfamiliar with that. So I always, always, always do a slip stitch, I'm sorry, not a slip stitch, a pearl stitch. So it's a faux pearl seam that runs down the length of the garment and through the sleeve. And that way I just feel it has more structure so that it is more like a garment that is sewn in pieces. Again, so it just doesn't look tubular. Another thing I always do is I do German short rows at the back, at the bottom hem. Well, you can't see it now, but at the bottom of my sweaters, right before, like this one has a twisted rib hem. So right before I go into that hem, just on the back, and I did knit this in the round. So right before, on the back section, I will do a couple of short rows. And when I say a couple, I mean like 2 sets, right? You go on the knit side, the purl side, the knit side, the purl side, and then you come back and do your whole round. So I'll do, depending on the weight of yarn, I will do anywhere from 1 to 3 sets. And depending if I want the garment to lay straight across the back, which my husband would prefer. For me, sometimes I like the back to drop down a little bit more than just even. Other times I want it even, so depending on the yarn, I do, as I said, I do 1 to 3 sets, meaning knit side, purl side is 1 set, right? And I will do that just because I don't like, so often with knitting around garments, at least I have found, I don't know why this is, when you put it on, and it's probably more noticeable in more cropped sweaters, I think, is the back sort of, you know, here's your front of sweater, here's your back of sweater, and the back will kind of ride up or even sometimes flare out a little, and it makes me bonkers, and I'm probably too fussy about it, but so I always do my short rows at the bottom. Now in this one too, what I did my short rows around the neck, you know, to bring up the back of the neckline just slightly, so it's sort of a crew neck. On me it's big, right? Because my husband wears a larger size sweater than I do. But my husband is also a swimmer, so he's very broad across the back, across his shoulder blades. So I actually, right before I split for the sleeves, I did, I think, just 1 set of German short rows, just to give him a tiny little bit of extra fabric right at that I probably could have done, you know, another set, but it was the first time I had tried it with a garment for him. So I did just one set of German short rows right before splitting for the sleeves. And it seems to fit him really well. Now, where I did make a little boo-boo, again, I wasn't following a pattern. I didn't do a gauge swatch. I just I based my cast on number of stitches based on other garments I've made. It's a little big here in the sleeve for him. It's not horrible. You know, he can definitely wear like a long sleeve tee underneath it, but it's just a tiny bit big here. So I think in future, and I do have more of this yarn in another shade, a pale blue, so I will make him another one of these sweaters eventually, no time in the near future, because now it's selfish knitting time. So I'm gonna, you know, I will take a little bit of extra fabric out of here. It's just a little, it doesn't bother him, but visually I look at it and I think, oh, it could be better, right? Sometimes you say, oh, that's okay, it's good enough, and it is, it's still perfectly fine to wear, but you know, you always want to improve on your knitting and the shaping and all of that. So I think, anyway, a friend of mine wanted a little headband for when she goes out running and things. And so a friend wanted a headband for when she goes out running. So I had some, I guess it's Aran or bulky weight yarn, some hedgehog. So I made her a headband, but I had leftover and I thought, oh, what am I going to do with the leftover? So I have this little pink collar. I made this years ago. I don't remember whose yarn this is. This yarn is probably 8 or 9 years old, but I had a little bit left over and I really love the color. So I just did a little collar. And I occasionally, if I'm walking at night and it's a little chilly and I've got a knit sweater on, I throw this on just to keep my neck warm. And so I decided, I thought, with my leftover from my friend's headband, so I made another one, but I changed it so that it you know, at the bottom, so it comes out a little, like this one is just a straight, it's just knit straight. But on this one, I made some modifications so that it flares out a little bit, so that it will, here, I guess I'll show you. Oh gosh, you guys. Oh my God, I am so sorry I didn't do my hair. Well, not really, not really. I say I'm sorry, but I'm not really. Sorry, not sorry. That's a hedgehog colorway, sorry, not sorry. So see how this one, it hugs your upper décolletage, or right at your neck, the base of your neckline. So I put this pattern on Ravelry. A few people had asked for it, and I did charge only a couple dollars just because it took me some time to write up the pattern and put pictures and do that. So it is up on Ravelry if you're interested. Please go check it out. Oh my goodness, I have, my tile guy is coming tomorrow. Our bathrooms, especially my husband's, he likes to shower in one bathroom and I like to shower in another because he likes the rain shower. I do not. And I also like gel soap, and he prefers bars of soap. But I don't think he rinses everything off when he's done, and the rain shower doesn't spray around much, right? It just comes straight down. And in my bathroom, I have a handle with hose thing, what do you call it? Whatever it's called. So I can rinse everything down when I'm done, right when I finish my shower, make sure there's no soap on anything. In my husband's shower, it's getting all that soap film. So the tile guy is going to come tomorrow and clean all that up because it looks terrible. I suppose I could do it myself, but I would rather be knitting because that's all I want to do is knit, knit, knit. Just like my house, I managed to run the vacuum through and do some dusting, but I could be a better housekeeper. It's just, I just want to be making. I want to be knitting. And when summer comes, I want to be sewing. And I want to get back to crochet. I mean, there's just so many things. And so if my house suffers a little. And who's coming over now anyway with COVID? Nobody. I guess I will show you a whip. Work in progress. I have made, I guess I'll put in a couple of pictures here. It's the Garland by Stephanie Pohlmeyer. There is on my Instagram feed, excuse me, there is I'm wearing one of them, and I made two. One leans more green. They're both sort of teal colored, but one leans more green, one leans more blue. And I love the pattern so much, I decided to make another one. And I wanted one more in my favorite kind of peacock colorways. So Trilogy Yarns, Nancy from Trilogy Yarns, she's a dyer up in the upper Northwest. And a long time ago, I fell in love with one of her posts. She has a colorway called Plumage, and it so reminds me of like peacock colorways. And you know, and all my blues and everything. I love my blues, my pinks, my purples. So I've started, and I'm doing this in pieces. The pattern, Garland is the sweater pattern. It is knit in the round, but then you split once you get to the underarms, if I remember correctly. I don't really even bother with the pattern so much anymore. It's mostly stockinette with some lace work. You can see sort of the lace work here. So this is the back of garment. I prefer to knit this in pieces because my tension is not always great between knitting in the round and then knitting flat. So I prefer just to knit this flat so that I don't I don't want to risk having my tension different, the bottom, the top portion from the bottom. So I just knit it flat, which is no big deal. This I'm actually knitting on size 10 needles. I am holding Nancy's Trilogy Yarns. It's a fingering weight. Plumage is the colorway. Oh, hold on. The colorway, as I said, is Plumage. And this is on her Razzle Dazzle base, which is a sparkle. So that you've got blues and purples and greens, and it's just really a beautiful color, or colorway. I have had, and I'm holding it together with, this is SMC Highland Alpaca Fine Alpaca yarn or something. I think it's a sport weight, although it feels pretty thin. It might even be a fingering weight. And so that, there is no, I forget what the number is for this colorway. I don't even think, this has been in my stash for 8 years, 7 years, long time. But it also picks up on one of the blues in Nancy's yarn here. So I'm holding them together. I was going to use a mohair, and I just thought, gee, I've had this in my stash for so many years that I want to use it up. And I thought it would look really great together. And so that is the beginnings of I've bound off this morning. Oh, and I used, when you knit in pieces and you bind off the center, Patty Lyons has a great technique for working when you bind off this center, and it can look a little wonky. And I can't really go into detail because it was a paid for, I paid for a pattern and it was included in the pattern, but it is, I think she does teach a class where you can do this trick, so I can't really give that away. But there's a great technique she uses so that you don't have these wonky connections where you're separating for the shoulder area. Now this pattern does not really, I think this pattern calls to have the neckline maybe even straight, but I always like a little bit of adding an inch or two for my shoulders. Again, this is the back of the garment, and the front I will bring it down much further. So that is my whip. And I'm trying to think, you guys, I really, I've done so many versions of the Hello Dahlia, and I've done a lot of versions of the Sand Art Cowl. And I'm just trying to think. I don't think I've really done too much of anything else. Oh, and I'm working on another sweater pattern, which if you follow me on Instagram, you will see. I don't want to show it here because it was in a timeout for a while. I was working on something and I didn't like what I did. I didn't like how it looked, so I had to tear back some rows, and because it's lace and cable, that took me a little bit of time to do that. So I'm caught up to where I was, and I think now what I'm doing, what I envision, I think that's all coming together nicely. And that new pattern it's going to be asymmetric, just like, or is it asymmetric or asymmetrical? I always wonder. I have to look that up. But like this, there's asymmetry, right? I love having the two different sleeves. So, and actually on the pink one, the hot pink one that I just had on, I actually used a little bit of short rows on the cuffs, the ruffle of the cuffs. So the cuffs are not exactly identical. There's a little bit of variation in them. I didn't go crazy because I was testing it out, and so I just played with it. So I do like asymmetry. So the new pattern, there will be some asymmetry in the garment, and it's going to be sleeveless, so you can throw it over a dress or over a blouse or something. So it will have just like tiny cap sleeves. So stay tuned for that. And I think, you guys, that's really, because I've been doing so much on Instagram, I don't have a whole lot to share with you. And because I'm trying to get involved with design work, and I don't know how that's going to go, but I thought I would dip my little toe in the water and see what happens. See if it ripples out into the, the knitting world, and see if people like my designs. And I applaud those of you who spend so much time designing. I mean, it's really, it's a fun challenge, and I'm starting off simple. And I guess maybe a lot of designers, unless you're super talented, which there are, I'm starting off kind of simple, just to see if people like the aesthetic that I'm putting out there. And hopefully, and I have some ideas for color work patterns and designs, and so yeah, so stay tuned. We'll see what happens with that. As I said, I'm putting my toe in the water, and we'll see what happens. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, it was fun. And if it doesn't work out, if I'm the only one that likes my designs, that's okay too. Because you guys, I almost forgot. OMG, my goodness. This is another finished object since the beginning of the year. This is called the Bregne, Bregne sweater. I'll put the information here. And I had some old Madelinetosh, again, yarn that has been in my stash for at least 5 years. And this is the Pashmina weight. So I guess that's kind of like a sport weight. Is Pashmina the sport weight for, it's not quite fingering. I guess it's, I'd have to look it up. Maybe I'll put it here if I remember. And so this sweater is beautiful. I'll put some images in so you get a better look. Because I have on, I did my costume change in my office here, and I have like a coral colored bra on underneath this, so I don't want to, I didn't put a little tank on underneath, so bear with me. This is a fun knit. This is super fast and easy. I love how tight and fitted the ribbing is here. That is so cool. And then of course, when you put your arms down, I'm going to cover up my, when you put your arms down, this kind of poofs over. Is that a bishop sleeve? So it's kind of a bit, I don't know that it was meant to be a bishop sleeve. I think as I was measuring and going along, I probably made the lace portion too long. And so when I washed it, then so it became bishop sleeves. I happen to like it because then if you move around, it doesn't pull the whole sleeve down. There's enough room in this bishop area. Anyway, it's very cool. I think this is the fern and lace pattern, fern and feather, not fern and feather. Anyway, it's a beautiful lace. It's super easy to do. Check it out. This too, I think, knitting around, top down. I incorporated, oh, actually, I think in this one, I wasn't able, because of the design of this pattern, I didn't want to break up the patterning. So I did not have to do, and that was thanks to the designer, the placement of where the yarn over lace portion is. I didn't have to put in my faux pearl seam because this pattern it didn't need it. And I actually started to put it in, and then I realized, oh, it's going to really wonk up the design. And I know no one would see it but me, because it would be under the arm and down the sleeve of the arm and the inside of the arm. But I just decided it wouldn't look good, so I tinked back a little bit and decided just to work with the design. So it is really fast. Use kind of, I forget what size needles I used on this, 6-ish maybe. So it went pretty quickly, and I'm really happy. It is so lovely. So I'll put pictures in. Okay, you guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in to my little shenanigans. Not much shenanigans. Oh, I should go out with my dancing with I've got my Arabic music, where after I work out, I do my little Arabic moves just to kind of, get the whole blood flowing and everything moving. Maybe I should record that for you guys, all that Looney Tunes that I do. Have a fabulous week, you guys, and I hope that I will not be 3 months again before I record and upload a video. And if I am, oh well, sorry. I will see you guys when I see you. Check me out on Instagram. There I will be. Take care. Bye.